While the world is home to many prosperous nations, there are countries still struggling with poverty, economic instability, and limited access to resources. In this video, we'll explore the top 10 poorest countries in the world, based on their gross domestic product, GDP, per capita. We'll dive into the challenges these nations face and shed light on the resilience and hope of their people. Number 10. Madagascar. At number 10 is Madagascar, an island nation off the southeastern coast of Africa. With a GDP per capita of approximately $500, Madagascar faces severe poverty, especially in rural areas. Over 75% of its population lives below the poverty line. Despite its rich biodiversity and unique wildlife, the nation struggles with deforestation, political instability, and inadequate healthcare. Climate change has also worsened drought conditions, affecting agricultural productivity. However, Madagascar's culture and natural beauty offer hope for future growth through ecotourism and sustainable development. International organizations are actively working to support education and healthcare improvements. Number 9. Liberia. Coming in at number 9 is Liberia, a West African nation with a GDP per capita of around $480. Decades of civil war, followed by the devastating Ebola outbreak, have crippled the country's economy. Many citizens lack access to clean water, education, and healthcare. The country's infrastructure remains underdeveloped, making it difficult for communities to thrive. Yet, Liberia's people remain resilient, and efforts to rebuild the country are underway. Investments in agriculture and education offer a pathway toward a better future. Programs aimed at youth empowerment and sustainable farming techniques are helping create opportunities for local communities. Number 8. Malawi. Eighth on our list is Malawi, located in southeastern Africa. With a GDP per capita of roughly $450, most Malawians rely on subsistence farming for survival. Droughts and a lack of modern agricultural tools contribute to chronic food insecurity. Additionally, high rates of HIV, AIDS, and other health challenges strain the healthcare system. However, there are ongoing projects to improve access to healthcare and education, as well as initiatives to empower women in rural areas. International aid and government programs are working to improve agricultural methods and provide better access to essential services. Malawi's warm-hearted citizens continue to push for change and development. Number 7. Niger. At number 7 is Niger, a landlocked country in West Africa. With a GDP per capita of approximately $420, Niger faces significant challenges due to desertification, population growth, and political unrest. More than 40% of its population lives in extreme poverty, and many communities rely on subsistence farming. Access to clean water and basic health care is limited, particularly in remote areas. Despite these hardships, Niger's cultural heritage and the resilience of its people highlight the nation's potential for future development. Efforts are underway to improve education access, address malnutrition, and combat desertification through sustainable land management practices. Number 6. Democratic Republic of the Congo. At number 6, we have the Democratic Republic of the Congo, or DRC, with a GDP per capita of about $410. Despite its vast natural resources, including minerals and fertile land, decades of conflict have devastated the country's infrastructure and economy. Millions face food insecurity, and access to healthcare is limited. Violence and political instability continue to displace communities. However, ongoing humanitarian efforts aim to provide relief and rebuild communities, offering a glimmer of hope for future stability. Programs focusing on vocational training, agricultural innovation, and peace-building initiatives aim to foster long-term growth. Number 5. Mozambique. Fifth on our list is Mozambique, a southeastern African nation with a GDP per capita of around $400. This country struggles with poverty due to years of civil conflict, natural disasters, and weak infrastructure. Rural areas face particularly harsh conditions, with limited access to clean water and education. Climate change further threatens agricultural productivity and food security. However, Mozambique's natural beauty, including its stunning coastline, holds potential for growth through tourism and sustainable development projects. Efforts are underway to improve disaster preparedness, expand educational opportunities, and promote environmental conservation. Number 4. Central African Republic. In fourth place is the Central African Republic, with a GDP per capita of approximately $390. This landlocked nation has been plagued by political instability and ongoing violence, which have hindered economic progress. Most of the population lacks access to basic services, including healthcare and education. The country's infrastructure is underdeveloped, making it challenging for humanitarian aid to reach remote areas. Despite these challenges, humanitarian organizations are working to provide relief and rebuild vital infrastructure across the nation. There are also initiatives focused on conflict resolution and community development to foster long-term stability. Number 3. Somalia. At number 3 is Somalia, located in the Horn of Africa, with a GDP per capita of about $310. Decades of conflict, political turmoil, and natural disasters have left much of the population in poverty. Access to basic services like education and healthcare remains limited. Droughts and food insecurity continue to threaten the livelihoods of millions. However, Somalia's coastal position presents opportunities for economic growth through trade and sustainable fisheries, offering hope for the nation's future. International agencies and local organizations are working to improve access to clean water, healthcare, and education. Number 2. South Sudan. Second on our list is South Sudan, the world's youngest nation, with a GDP per capita of roughly $275. Since gaining independence in 2011, South Sudan has faced persistent conflict, displacement, and food insecurity. Over half the population relies on humanitarian aid to survive. The lack of infrastructure and basic services exacerbates poverty. Despite these severe challenges, there are efforts to establish peace and develop the nation's agricultural potential to improve living conditions. Programs promoting reconciliation and community rebuilding are critical in the journey toward long-term stability and growth. Number 1. Burundi. And finally, the poorest country in the world is Burundi, located in East Africa, with a GDP per capita of around $260. This small, landlocked nation faces significant economic challenges due to political unrest, limited natural resources, and population density. The majority of Burundians rely on subsistence farming, and malnutrition is widespread. In addition, inadequate healthcare and education systems further exacerbate the nation's poverty. International organizations and local communities are working tirelessly to provide healthcare, education, and food security. Despite the difficulties, the people of Burundi remain hopeful for a brighter future. While these countries face immense economic and social challenges, their people continue to show resilience, hope, and determination. With ongoing global cooperation and sustainable development efforts, there is potential for positive change. Which of these stories impacted you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content.